Welcome to my channel. This is IGAIA-KNITS. I'm Elsie. I'm coming to you from El Salvador in Central America. It's Saturday, June the 6th, 2020, and it's 4:50 p.m. It's surprisingly sunny right now, and here the sun sets really early, so in about an hour it should be dark. And well, I wanted to do this podcast now. It's a little bit hard for me to record earlier in the day. I am not a morning person, and well, so it's been like 3 months for the ones that already follow me and have subscribed to the channel. Welcome back. I know it's been a long time. It's just that since all these things started with the problem, I'm gonna call it the problem, I don't want to mention it, and since all this started, it's been so hard for me. And well, here I am. There's a lot of things I want to say, and the hardest part is what is not about knitting. And this is my nose itches because I get a little bit nervous every time I record. And I discovered I was editing my Spanish version last night, and I was noticing I was doing this, and I didn't know why. But now I found out, because I'm wearing the same bodysuit underneath the sweater, that the label has something that it's itching, so I'm gonna have to cut it off, but I didn't, so I might do it again. I'm sorry about that. And I wanted to tell you all the things that have been going on with me during this time. My hair has been falling like crazy. I don't know if it's stress or it's some hormonal thing. And also I haven't the salons are closed, as I don't know, in many countries they're still closed. And I caught the ends like 2 or 3 times, and of course I just got it. I don't know if I did it right. I'm sure I didn't. And it's uneven, but at least I wanted to be sane, but I haven't dyed it. And I could use like a box from the drugstore, but I have dermatitis, and it got really worse. And I wouldn't put that onto my scalp because it will burn, literally. So I haven't done it yet. My mom bought me a shampoo that it's medicated, that the dermatologist gave to me like a long time ago. We remembered, and we bought it from the drugstore. They came and brought it home, and it's been working. So I'm trying to get my scalp healthy again so that I can dye it. And we're all in the same boat. And I have seen like a lot of gray hair that I have not seen before. I respect whomever wants to leave their hair gray, but I personally don't like it. So I am suffering a bit because of that. I know you cannot see it from there, but believe me, it's there. And also colitis has been on and off. And I have also had episodes of insomnia, so I have been taking melatonin, and I haven't exercised, and I feel terrible about it. I haven't done my yoga again, and I am like trying to get to the point where I take out the mat and actually do it. And I hope I can report to you next time that I have been doing it, because right now, no exercise. And what else? Well, here in El Salvador, we have had a very tough time. We've been under quarantine ordered by the government since March 21st. And I don't know, it's 80 something days. It's been crazy. You cannot go out unless there are days where we can go out, and according to your ID number. And it's been hard. I really don't, some days it's just hard. And if we go out, I go out. My son is minor, he's 17 still, and my mom is a third age person, so she's 68, so she shouldn't be out. So I'm the one who goes to the supermarket or to the convenience store or to the gas station or to the little store or in the neighborhood, or to whatever we need the days that I can go out. And I'm looking at my notes, and well, it's been hard. I'm sure it's been hard for everyone here in El Salvador. Also, we're very sad because last weekend, tropical storm called Amanda hit us really hard, and we've had rain nonstop for a week. Today the sun came out, and we're hopeful because there's a lot of people suffering. There's a lot of people who don't have food or clothes, or they lost everything. They lost their homes, their belongings. They have lost cars, and businesses have been hurt too because they have been closed, so they didn't even have people inside to look after the property, and now it's flooded, and there's a lot of problems going on right now. And we're trying to help the ones that have a little bit more. As you know, the ones that have already come in the past know that I have been without a formal full-time job for more than 2 years. So the income that I receive personally is very, very small, and my house is on foreclosure, and I'm losing everything to the bank, but all the furniture and stuff inside my home I can sell. But right now it hasn't been possible because of all these things happening with the problem and the quarantine and now the rain. And there's no money. Also, people are like trying to cut back on expenses and not buying things. Nonetheless, I am hopeful, and yesterday I received a message through Facebook asking for the stove, so I hope I can start selling things, and I hope that soon we can go out, even though we observe the social distancing practices, but at least, restart the economy. El Salvador is a very poor country with very little resources, and we're very worried about the livelihoods of our country, our people, ourselves, even though we know we're so privileged, and there's a lot of people suffering without jobs at every level, from executives to people who work at factories, and it's sad. So I believe that right now every day is a challenge to keep yourselves happy, to try to bring joy into your life. Knitting, in my opinion, does that for us, and I'm so glad we have that outlet, because otherwise some of us would be crazy nuts by now. And it's so reassuring, refreshing, and there's a lot of health benefits to all those, to handcrafting, and I am very, very grateful for having that gift and to share it with all of you. So during this time, I experienced the first days were awful, because the worst that has happened to me personally was that my mom, she works at educational institution. She is the the dean of this educational institution, and they had an event in Guatemala, which is the neighbor country, and they went on March 11th to Guatemala for an event, and they were supposed to return the next day. It was just, you know, an overnight trip. I didn't want her to go. Really, I felt like that thing that you don't feel comfortable. And I really told her, please don't go. I don't know why, but I don't want you to go. But she said, no, how can I miss that event? It's really important. I'm the dean. I have to be there. She's very responsible. So she went on March 11th, the last day I did yoga. And that very same day, the president appeared on TV because the situation with the problem became a worldwide emergency. And he closed the borders and he closed the airport right that minute. And there were planes coming in. There were people already at the borders. There were people coming to the borders. So I called my mom, who was picking up my son from school. And when I got home, I went to the supermarket to buy some things after I picked him up from school, and I called her and I said, Mom, you need to come back. And they decided to come back, but the traffic coming out of Guatemala City was so bad that they made it to the border like at 9 p.m. and they wouldn't let them in without them accepting going to quarantine. But at centers that are held by the government. And those centers were functioning, the way they were functioning was that they would put a lot of people into the same place with no rooms, like a lot of beds in the same place, and with not enough bathrooms, not enough care, not enough food. And my mom, she is in very good health, thank God. And if you see her, you don't think that she's 68, but she's 68. And she had a heart surgery in December. She had a stent put into her heart, and she's taking this medicine not to get a blood clot in her system. So she's at high risk, and she has many degrees. And I'm so proud of her. I only have one degree at the university, and I don't think I'm gonna get another one. So, but one of her degrees is in bacteriologist. So she's a bacteriologist, and she knew the risk that posed to her and to her team to go to one of those places. So she decided to head back to Guatemala City. So she refused to enter the country, and she and her team came back to Guatemala City. It was past 9 p.m. That road is really dangerous. People have been assaulted in that road, and I cannot explain to you the anguish that I had that night, knowing that they were moving from the border to Guatemala City again. Until she told me they were safe and sound there, I was at peace, but you know, it was terrible. And a few days later, they were able to come back to the border. I'm sure you saw a fly going by. We live in a tropical country. We fight against. I'm in a closed environment in the living room, and I have the air conditioning on because it's already, the temperature has raised already. And the flies, you know, the sun shines and the flies come out. So I don't like them. So anyway, thing is that they came to the border a few days after, and they were lucky enough, they were sent to a hotel, but in the mountains. And she only had to share her room with one of her colleagues with whom she had left the house on March 11th. So, you know, and it's a lady about her age. And so I was like more at ease that I knew that she was with her and not with a lot of people. And it's not a condition that you would want in a medical situation where you're trying to avoid contagion, right? Because it's about social distancing. And we didn't know much about the problem back then and how it would get transmitted. So, well, she stayed there more than 30 days, and it was awful. Those days I couldn't eat, I couldn't concentrate, I slept really little, I ate really little, I was like a wreck. And finally, after 30 days, that it was the time the government said they were going to hold them there, and they wouldn't let her go, bring her home. We started doing a campaign in social media for them to release her, and thankfully we got all our friends, my sisters and I, to share her story on social media, and we got enough pressure for them to let her go. And she arrived home safely, and she's thinner. She has to eat more because they didn't feed her well there. So I'm feeding her so that she gains more weight. Her doctors have already checked on her. I took her to the cardiologist like 2 weeks ago to her checkup, and thank God she's doing great. So during that time I tried to knit. As I said, I am going to show you a shawl that I ripped like 4 times. The lace section, I couldn't concentrate. I thought something wrong was going on with me because I would read the pattern and I didn't understand the instructions. And I was like, oh my God, you know, it was terrible. So anyway, I want to show you, I found this Spanish lady. She's, I don't remember where she is from, the city, but you know, she's Spanish, and her name is Alicia, and she does this technique that is called centangle. So I saw her and I started trying it, and I loved it, and I thought, well, maybe this thing will help me concentrate, and maybe this thing will help me find my mojo again for the knitting. And she would do like a meditation while you are doing the drawings, and they look so complicated, but they're really not. And I even compare this to knitting, because sometimes when we look at a pattern we think, oh my God, that's so complicated. But when we start following the instructions one by one, line by line, we find that we can make it. This one I did it with my mom when she came back, and I've been meaning to go back to this, but since I got my knitting mojo back, I haven't done it. But she has some of her meditation classes on her Instagram, IGTV. So maybe I will go back to that at some point in time. And with my personal situation, I can report that I have, as I said, I have not sold anything. I could only sell the fridge before all this started, and thank God, because I got some money while my mom came back. But that situation is still the same. I was there like 2 days ago because I was afraid that the water would have come inside the house. Thankfully it didn't. And we're waiting for things to get better, because right now I receive very little income. The only income I personally receive is from my social media managing thing. I have some customers and my family from Dallas whom I manage their social media for their flower shop business, and that is about it. So we're trying to help here, donating to places, buying from places where we know they're donating part of their income to people who need it the most. If we go to buy groceries, we try to buy an extra rice bag or an extra beans bag to donate. Here we're trying to donate some money for the security guards and gardeners that live, well, they're leaving right now here because they wouldn't go home, so that they would avoid being exposed to getting the problem. And we are trying to donate some money also for them to get fed here. And there are a lot of ladies here in my neighborhood who cook, and they're cooking for them too. So they sell food, but they're also catering, like they do catering, so they're cooking for them too. And also my mom and I and my son are looking for things in our closets, that clothes that we can donate for these people. And that's another reflection of this time, that we have so many things that if we don't go out of the house, we don't use. And it's an eye-opener. How many things do you really need? How many things really bring joy when you put them on, like Mary Kondo says, you know? And there are a lot of things that we need to let go of them, because we don't use them as often, because some other people might use them, and because they don't make you happy anymore. So it's very important. And also, the last thing I want to talk about before we go onto the meeting, I know it's 21 minutes, but it's very important for me to tell you this. I understand. I'm sorry, I'm gonna drink water from this cup. It's my my nephew's cups. We haven't seen them in so long, only in video call. So I was going to say about the problem, another problem that's going on in the United States, about racism, and how sad is all these that's going on in the world. Definitely we need to be anti-racist, and definitely Black Lives Matter. Here in El Salvador we don't have Black people. I hope I am not offending anyone by saying Black people, because I read on Instagram that we shouldn't address Black people as BIPOC or POC anymore, because we shouldn't be afraid to say Black people. I am not white, you know, I am Latin. And thing is, I don't think that the color of the skin of someone or their race has anything to do with their value. And I believe we as humans need to have more humanism, more love, more respect. And we need to teach that to our children. We need to talk about that. And this is a hard subject. As I said, we don't have Black people in El Salvador, but there's a lot of Black people in Latin America, in many countries. And I believe racism exists. My nose is itching. I believe racism exists everywhere, and it needs to stop. And also, I believe there's discrimination against many groups, and that needs to stop too. And there are a lot of injustices and terrible things happening, and I hope that stops. So that's all I wanted to say. I hope my words are well received and are well understood. And let's go to the meeting. So when I was recording in Spanish, I said I didn't remember if I had shown you this sweater, but I was editing last night and I saw I did, but the thing is that I didn't have one sleeve. Now I have both sleeves. So this is I'm gonna stand up so you can see it. This is the Not Your Average Cat Lady sweater by Emma Carrion. I'm gonna turn around. Here after the yoke, there are the short rows, and this is a worsted weight. It was far more cropped than it is, but I didn't want it that cropped because we talked about that, the muffin top, like my sister says. And it has like a little bit of a puff here, which I like. The only thing, well, I love animal print, you know, and I love this pattern. I think it's so great. It's, you know, perfectly done. It doesn't go that way, it doesn't go this way. It's perfect. I love it. I would definitely need it again. The only thing I didn't like is that the short rows come from the back after the yoke up to here. And I used wrap and turn. I have always used wrap and turn. Most patterns still use wrap and turn. And I have, studied the Japanese short rows and the German short rows. I have seen many videos. I have read about it. And I'm a designer too, but I have never changed my wrap and turns. And I didn't like the effect, you know, like it shows, and I don't know. Yeah, you can tell. I don't like it. And it got better after blocking. But right now I'm thinking, after trying the German short rows, that German short rows are far easier. They don't leave holes, and I love them. So now I'm gonna do German short rows. If in my patterns I might call for wrap and turn or German short rows, just because, and I will write that I recommend German short rows and why. I think wrap and turn is the most common, but not necessarily the best. And maybe we need to, as knitters or as crafters, we need to try different techniques to see which one works the best. And I love this cotton from Hobby Lobby, I think. Yeah. And this yarn, I love this cotton, was bought in the States online. And my friend Bea, if you're watching, hi Bea, she lives in LA and she brought it to me. And I don't know if you remembered, I said that the gold was missing, then it finally got to my hands. And this is a very affordable yarn. It's worsted weight, it's combed cotton, it's not mercerized. I had already used it before. It's nice. For this weather, it's like, it's enough. You know, it's worsted weight, so it's thick enough and more with color work for you to be warm in an air conditioning environment, or if you work in an office, or if it's a little bit colder in the mornings or in the afternoons or at night. So for the summer, for your summer in the northern hemisphere right now, or for the summer whenever you have it in the southern hemisphere, I think it would be fantastic. And Emma hasn't published it yet. I think Emma has had a difficult time as well with all this thing happening, but I'm sure she will publish it in the summer. So whenever she does, I will surely share it with you on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I will leave it here, and underneath in the description box, you have the link tree there to my Ravelry store. For my patterns, the Atenea Midnight is still 50% off with the coupon code on the last episode. I will leave the link here. And I don't write much on Ravelry, so you will only see my patterns, and whenever I have a call for a test knit, we will talk about the test knits in a bit. But the other thing I wanted to show you, I'm gonna take this off because you're not going to see the shawl, and because I'm getting hot, and because I'm going to try on my new design so that you can see it. And so the next FO that I have is the Sigi by Hogi Locatelli. This one is the one that I couldn't go on with, that I couldn't concentrate. It's beautiful. It's very big. It's like, I don't know, 2 meters long or 180 long. You cannot even see it on the screen. But it's so gorgeous. I love it. I love it. And this is Malabrigo. I did it in 2 colors because you know how much I love 2 colors things, 2-tone things, or 2 colors, combining 2 colors. And I bought this yarn at McKinney Knittery in Dallas, Texas for this shawl. And this color here with the speckles, it's called Mask. And this color, it's like an eggplant color, like dark eggplant, like, I don't know, going to purple, to dark purple. It's beautiful. But this is a one-time dye lot, and I hadn't not even noticed. When I found the label, I saw it was a one-time dye lot. So I don't like shawls that are too big. I explain why. But this one, I wanted it to be as big as it was, because I wanted to use all the yarn. And since it wasn't, Kohi didn't design it for two. Well, she designed it for two skeins, but two skeins, two of the same, not changing colors. So at the end, I ran out of mask. And as you can see, I had to finish the last rows of that section with the other color. And it was perfect because I didn't even bring it, but I have like this much left. So I love it. I have been using it a lot. This is Merino Superwash Malabrigo, and I love it. I think Merino Superwash, it's really nice in hot weather. It doesn't get, you don't get too hot, because the other shawl that it's more like a handkerchief, bandeja, that I made with crazy wool, I get hotter. Even though it's smaller, I get hotter than with this one, faster. Okay, so then the other faux that I want to show you is the All I See by Honey. This one is my mom's. I finally finished it. I had problems with it too. I started during this problem during the quarantine, and I don't know why, but mine is this is the opposite. The lace part is in this mustardy yellow, and this part, the garter part, is in this oatmeal color. I don't remember the name of the colors. This is knit 1, crochet 2, and it's cotton silk nylon. It's really nice, and it's really soft, and it's like a hug. I love it, and it's not that that hot. I really recommend this yarn for this time, for the summer. And if you see, there's a little bit of wrinkle here, the fabric, because I don't know why. The garter tab, I started the same way, but mine has like a big bump up, and I have seen pictures of All I See on Instagram, and I see that many have that bump bigger, and some don't. I don't understand why. I don't understand why this happened to mine, but you know, I kept going, and when I blocked it, I was able to stretch it out a lot. It was more wrinkled. I was worried, but you know, it works okay. Mine has the bump, so whenever I put it on, I have to fold it here. My mom doesn't need to fold it, and she loved it. She was so happy with it, and she has used it for many of her Zoom and Teams meetings that she's having at work, and I am so happy she liked it, and I gave it to her for Mother's Day, and I was so happy I got my mojo back, because at some time I thought I was never going to keep on needing my things again, and you know, it was crazy. So I'm happy that these turned out okay, and those are my whips, my FOs. I am trying right now not to start too many things at once, because you know, I get dispersed and I get distracted. I need to concentrate. I am not a monogamous knitter, I know, but I need to have an amount of projects that I can really handle and that I know I will finish, and that's what I'm trying to do. So this yarn, is the Luma by the Fiber Company, and this is decay. It has 50 grams of skein, and it has 50% merino, 25% cotton, 15% linen, and 10% silk. And this was bought at the McKinney Knittery as well a year ago. It's amazing. How long can yarn sit on in your stash, right? And that yarn, I asked my mom to bring it, to buy it for me when she went to my niece's graduation from school in Dallas last year. And I asked her to bring the yarn for my for my Odyssey. And I never used it for the Odyssey because I got the Knit One Crochet 2 as well from my sister, and I thought I'm gonna do it in this one. And it ended up I ended up not needing this. So now I thought I want to design a cardigan, but a cardigan that is more a jacket, something that is more dressy. And so I did. This is the Augustine jacket. I'm gonna stand up, and this is it. It's short but not cropped, and I have done a little bit of marling here and a little bit of marling here. So I didn't want to have, and I did marling on the sleeve too, and I have like a long cuff and a bishop sleeve, and it has a little bit of a puff here. I didn't want to have a cardigan with buttons because this is not locked, because I don't like to button up my cardigans. I like this style, like the setting sleeve style cardigans, more than yoke or raglan cardigans, just because I feel they sit better on your shoulders and they do not open unevenly, like they're closed here, but they tend to open like that on the sides. So I think a cardigan that has a setting sleeve design, it's more likely to stay in place on your shoulders. And I wanted something that had like an armhole, slightly bigger than a normal armhole, because if you're wearing a blouse underneath, I don't like that to be all scrunched up here. And I wanted something comfortable that you could raise your arm and not have any problems. I like underarms with no holes. I think it's very nice to take the time to make sure you don't have holes under your arm. I wouldn't buy a sweater at a store that has holes. I have seen people who says, who's gonna look underneath my arm? It doesn't matter. To me, it does. So I know a lot of people don't like to sew, but sometimes you need to sew those holes because there's no other way that you're gonna have a nice finishing. And I put a lot of attention in that. And the construction of this cardigan or jacket, it's called Augustine jacket. It's really cool because you start in the back and you come this way and you come up to here, and then you join in the round here. And it's not really in the round, as you know, you keep on knitting flat, but the whole thing, so you don't have to sew here. The only thing you need to sew is here, like 2 stitches, it's nothing. And then you retake the stitches for the collar and for the button band that is not a button band. And I did a tubular bind off because I think it looks really nice. It's not that hard. This is done with a darning needle, and I have put up 2 videos on my IGTV about the construction. and about the tubular cast off, or bind off, I'm sorry, the tubular bind off. And this has a little bit of a halo. I don't know if you can pick it up there. I think you can see it. Let me see. Well, it has halo, and I don't know if the halo comes from the merino or it's from the linen. But I made a swatch. I never make a swatch really. But before I wash something, all of my hand knits, I put them in lukewarm water with salt and vinegar just to make sure the color fastness. I work in the textile industry, as you might already know. And I know there's always bleeding. It's really hard not to have bleeding. Maybe only very heavy chemically treated fabric or materials do not bleed, but the rest will bleed. So you gotta be very careful with that. So I did the swatch, and I'm gonna wash it. I wash everything in the washer in the wool setting with wool wash, but still I am in a bag, in a lingerie bag, but still I'm afraid of this one, so we will see. The label says hand wash, but I will try with my mini swatch, see what happens. I hope the yarn, this is all I have left, so I hope it works for the sleeve. I haven't done the sleeve because I want to jump onto pattern writing. I haven't written the pattern for the Hope sweater either, and I want to thank everyone who has written to me on Ravelry and here telling me that they would test knit for me. Thank you so much. And on Instagram, I'm sorry I have not written the pattern. I will never make a call without the pattern being written first, and I will try to write the pattern along writing this one. And also because I want to check my notes before I go onto the sleeve, and also because I want to do an IGTV about picking up the stitches and doing the German short rows here and the increases for the puff, and so I want to do that. Also, I want to try double pointed needles when I have the opportunity, because this cuff, I didn't like it that much. I did it on a 16-inch cable on a Chia Ogu, which is great, you know, those needles are great, but I think the circumference was very small and I couldn't do it properly, so I might have stretched too much the stitches for my taste. So next time I have the opportunity to buy and try double pointed needles, I will, and the other cuff I will make it in a longer cable with magic loop to see how it works. And I think I will call for double pointed needles in the pattern for the ones that use them often, or you know, are used to use them. I think that's the place where you will use them, and they will work better. So I think that's about it with the Agustin jacket. I am trying to do the IGTV, so whenever the pattern comes out, if you like it and you buy it, you will have those resources to go look how it's done. And I will also reference 2 tutorials from Knitting the Stash and Maria Sucena, whom have beautiful tutorials about calculating how many stitches you need to pick up for your sleeves. And you know, I love it. I really love the technique, because before, I'm gonna show you some magazines or things that I have from years ago, from my grandmother and from my mother, and I just think that we have had a lot of help from technology now, and we have better tools to do things. You don't have to knit your sleeves flat anymore. Here in the shoulder, I did some short rows. It's only 3 short rows. They're in the back, but I did wrap and turn, and I think in the pattern I will tell people they can choose wrap and turn or German short rows. Here it doesn't show as much, but here they would show, and as you can see, you don't see them. It's great. I love German short rows. I am in love with them now. So that's about it. The Augustine jacket, and now I'm gonna talk about my other weaves. I have this bag that I bought like, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, because I traveled so much for work, and this was for my more than maybe 4 years ago, and I bought it for my cosmetics or for my maybe not cosmetics because you couldn't travel in the cabin with cosmetics, but for my essentials on the plane. And so this is the brand is Riesenthal. I don't know if it's German or Dutch, and it's like a quilted bag. It's really spacious. It has pockets on the side. I have my glasses there, and I have my needles, and it has pockets here on the sides. It's really cool. So here I have all my whips. The first whip I want to show you is the Luna by Espastrico. This is Melissa's design. I am really happy with it. This is the Luna. It's a high neck yoke sweater. It's really simple. It only has twisted ribbing and stockinette. And I'm doing this in fingering weight cotton from LHO. This is Argentinian cotton that my mom bought for me in Córdoba, Argentina, when she was there, like, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And I went to my stash and I found I have 3 or 4 skeins of this one. This is the same yarn that I used for the lace in the Hope sweater. So I have a lot. I like the color. I like to color things. I like color work, and normally my projects are not monochrome. But right now I wanted something that I would need when I watch TV and that I didn't have to think much. And I love to design, but I will always need things from somebody else, because in that process I learn, I relax, I don't have to think about writing my notes as I go, and I don't need to stress out. So, the other week I have, and whenever I need to rest my mind from designing, I go to my other whips. My other whip is the Ghost Horses sweater by Caitlin Hunter. It's just the beginning. I haven't done much, but I have started the color work. I'm liking it, but I have been, this is the short rows. These are the short rows. So I like it a lot, but I haven't been working on it as much because I have been fixed with the Augustine jacket and with the Luna. And I am using this cotton acrylic blend from Lana Silvia from Peru. This is fingering weight. It's really soft. It's nice. I like it a lot. I love the color. And I am combining it with this cotton. This is Pima cotton from Lana Silvia too. And I have done this little power bowl to begin my background of the color work. And there's this lilac, then the light blue, and then inside I think I put like a beige, a light cream color, and we will see how it works. As I explained in a previous podcast, I saw the power bowl technique from the designer Crystal Safard, and I loved it. So as the pattern appears, we will be able to see how it works, right? Also, I wanted to say that I love my Chiao glues for sure. These things won't lose they don't have any memory. The cable doesn't have any memory. It doesn't matter how much you twist them, they will go back. So I love them. They're very sharp. They're slick enough. They're not as slick as the Addies, but the Addies really, I don't like the cable. It's a pain. I am afraid of putting them in hot water, like the grocery girls said that some people were saying. They haven't done it either. I do not want to do it. I rather buy Chiao Gu. I've seen other needles. I think I don't remember the names, but I have them saved in my Instagram that the knitting posy have bought. They're flexible. And there was another German brand, I think. So yeah, and another project that I want to start that I haven't started yet, but I will, is a carpet, a crochet carpet, a small carpet for my room in this t-shirt yarn. I had made a purse that I frogged because I didn't like it anymore. I'm gonna leave a picture of it here. It was in knitting, but I didn't like it anymore, so I'm gonna do this carpet that I got inspired by Michelle from my so-called handmade life. If you're watching, hi Michelle. And she showed from a book a carpet made from t-shirt yarn, I believe, in crochet, and it had the most beautiful crochet flowers on top. So I am, wanting to start that. And I wanted to show you these needles. These are my vintage needles, and I have a set from this brand. These are made in Mexico, and I bought them fairly recently. Imra. So these are 35 centimeter long needles. I use them to knit with t-shirt yarn or bulkier yarn. And I have a set that my mom bought for me when I was a little kid, when I started learning. She worked at the German school in San Salvador, and her students would go to Germany, and she asked them to buy the needles for me, and I still have them. I don't have them all, but it had the I don't have the case anymore, but I have the needles. But it had from 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters, 4 up to 8, maybe 8 millimeters. And I was reflecting upon how different the construction of the sweaters and the garments was back in the day. I have 2 magazines that my late ex-mother-in-law gave to me. She liked knitting, and maybe in next podcasts I will show them to you. Those are like little treasures to me, and she gave them to me, and they have helped me a lot with ideas on the designing front. And I'm amazed to see that the patterns were like half a page, that they were only for 2 sizes, that everything was knitting pieces. You had to sew everything, and it was like a sewing pattern, right? And I found I do both. I do knit and I do crochet, and I haven't crocheted anything in these moments or months. Maybe I will start the carpet, but I found these little bikinis for girls that I made to sell like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, and I have them. I have the ones that didn't sell for little presents. And a friend of mine, her sister-in-law went to Argentina, and at a street market she bought a little bikini for her daughter, who was 3 at the time, and her daughter loved it so much. But when she outgrew the bikini, she called me and she said, look, I have this bikini, I want you to please make one for my daughter, but bigger. She's 5 now. So she took it to my home, and after a few trials, I was able to replicate the little bikini, and I was able to make the notes. I don't know where they are. I hope they're there. I don't know if I will make more of those. I never wrote a pattern for these, but this is made in 100% mercerized cotton thread. It's very, very thin, from Brazil. And I bought this here, this cotton. This is jeans. That's the color, jeans. And they're so beautiful. I love it. I don't know if I will make more, but I wanted to show them to you. And also I have these headbands that I put crochet flowers. I never used this gold thread that I showed in an episode in my shawls. I thought of putting this one to my mom's shawl, but then I thought, what if she doesn't like it? And I didn't. But I will keep using them for my flowers, and I will make more flowers for my carpet. And also I have a sequined one that I love. And I don't use headbands because my head is too big, and I even have problems with the beanies if they don't have a certain shape. I wanted to make a beret for me, but I thought maybe it's gonna fall down because the headbands normally either hurt, the ones that are only half of the circumference. I don't have the name in English in my head right now, but it's a headband. If it's too tight here, it hurts, and otherwise it falls off my head. And but I love seeing it in girls, smaller or big. And also I wanted to show you this set, Boi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I haven't looked it up. I don't know how it's pronounced, and I am a marketing professional, and I should pronounce the brands perfectly. Boy or boy. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. So this was this belonged to my late how would you say that in English? Oh my god. She's my aunt grandmother. So I don't know, but she's my aunt grandmother, and she passed like 2 years ago. Her name was Ella, and she loved to crochet. And her daughter, my aunt, it's my dad's cousin. She lives in the States, but she came for her mom's funeral and everything, and she closed the house and she found the needles, and she said, I want you to have them. So I have them, and that's why our form, dress form or mannequin, it's called Ella. She's not here today, but she's performing other duties. And but she gave it to me, and I'm so grateful to have them. And also I wanted to show you this napkin. Talking about other crafts, there's decoupage. It's a technique where you take a napkin and you cut it. You cut out the drawing and you place it on wood, and then with white glue you adhere it to the surface and you let it dry, and then you apply a sort of a varnish to it, and it looks really great. And I wanted to do it for a coffee tray, a small coffee tray, wooden coffee tray that we have here at home, and some wooden boxes that a friend of mine gave to me. And this napkin, I bought it in Amsterdam in 2015, and I bought a whole package, and I saved this one for that purpose. And I had it in my things, you know, I have been going through my things and I found it, so I think I'm going to try to do something with it. I think I'm gonna reach the size of the video soon, so it's gonna cut off and I will restart. But I found also this magazine. It's a crochet magazine. It's very old. It was my mom's. My mom used to do a lot of doilies, and they were all around the house. There's a little curtain here, and I thought it was beautiful, but you would see, you know, these were the patterns back in the day. Those were the instructions, and I think crafters were true artists to be able to follow with those little instructions to finish beautiful projects. And something really cool that happened to me, look at that, is in 2017 I went to Gramado, Brazil, and in Brazil, look at this. This reminds me of the cocktail hour or tea time. My mom would invite her friends to our home and she would cook for them, and it was more of a slow life. Like, people would set up the table with more care, with details, with handmade things. I think we've lost a lot of that, and it's sad, right? Like, I would like to see that again, but we, in this crazy life that we used to live in, we didn't have the time or the energy to do that. And those are things that I believe people in general might miss, right? And you know what happened to me? I was going to tell you. So I went in 2017 to Gramado, Brazil. That is in Rio Grande do Sul, which is the southern state that has a border with Uruguay. And we went to an Airbnb from work. They had rented this house, and I was so surprised to see when we walked into the house, there was a round table, and I saw the same carpet that was at my home that my mom had crocheted. And I thought, oh my God, so far away, and maybe that thing is so old. And these are napkin holders and cutlery holders, beautiful. And here we have another cocktail hour with flowers, with the crochet carpet, the glasses. So I keep these as my treasures. Also, at the end of each magazine, they would teach you how to make crochet, how to do it. This is in Spanish, but it would tell you the double, treble, the whatever stitch that you were making, the treble, and how to make it, right? So it's nice, the slip stitch or whatever. And here I found this book or magazine made. It's a folder actually. It's so old. You can see, look at the scotch on the edges. It's brown. And this is from my grandmother, my dad's mom. She loves to do cross stitch, and she gave this to me. And I love it, and I think you can get so many color work motifs from here. And this is so inspiring. It has so many beautiful things, and it is a little treasure. And I found a wreath. I want to show it to you. I made this when I was a little girl. Of course, I don't know where that is, but I made this wreath with my grandma. I remember her taking out all the threads in different colors for me to use for the roses and the leaves. And it was so cool, you know, every time I visited her, I wanted to see her drawers where she kept her magazines and her things, and that's great. I have been doing a lot of remembering about my childhood during this time, and it's not something deliberate. It's just something that has come to me, and that is something interesting. Also, on other news, I am trying to learn how to sew. My mom bought me a machine finally. I haven't taken it out of the box because we don't have a printer now. I need to find out how am I going to find a printer and somebody who would bring it here. And because we live outside the city. And but I made a mask. I made it with a pattern that Marilisa Lugo gracefully shared with me. And I loved it because it's a free pattern. If somebody wants it, please send me a message or leave a comment with your email address. I will gladly forward it to you. And it has here a slit for the nose, and it has this piece that covers your chin. So it fits really well. And it's cotton, and I left a pocket for the filter. The pocket should go here too, but the thing is that it didn't call for a lining, and I wanted to have a lining. So next one, maybe I will make it longer. And I don't know if I will try to sew it in the machine or not, but I will definitely make some. I have some of these canvas. This canvas was the one that I used for my bags that I haven't decorated yet, but this is the only thing that I have left, the only cut that I have left. So maybe I can make some, at least one for my son, one for me, one for my mom, maybe two. And this is coated, so it doesn't let the humidity go inside. I haven't tested it yet, but I want to do it with a spray so that I am sure it doesn't go in or go out. You know, that's another project because the N95s, I just can't stand them. I have used the ones that they normally use at medical places that are not respirator masks, but still I can't stand them. And the respirator masks, we couldn't find them here. I had some in the house in my things because I paint too, and sometimes when I paint or when I have done other crafts that involve painting or glue that smell really strong, I am allergic, and I had them already. And but those things have like a little filaments that come off whenever you're wearing them, and at least I feel them. They go into my nose and they start itching and they mark my face. Like I come back from the store and I take it off and the thing has left a mark, and it's only an hour. I cannot even imagine how doctors need to deal with that, right? Anyway, the last thing I want to show you is acquisitions. I hope it doesn't go off the recording because of the time and of the. Hi, sorry about that. As you know, the space is not that much. So my mom gave me a present, and it's this yarn. It's cotton, mercerized cotton. It's sport weight. I haven't done the reps per reps per inch test, but I will. And I think it's sport. I have used it before for Caitlin Hunter Designs. This is for the Stagecoach. I love it. I only ordered 300 grams of the blue because I'm not going to make it long sleeve. It's gonna be a short sleeve, so I think it's gonna be okay. I love the combination. I hope it turns out nice. It's really cool. This is made in Mexico from Hilos Omega. It's called Sinfonia. And these we bought from a place here that it's a foundation that helps a lot of people in need in our country. It's called Entre Costuras. And this is the little bag they send it in. And also we bought this. It's so beautiful. It's a little scissors. They're beautiful. I love it. And the brand is Premax from Italy. And the one that I have, it's old and I like it, but yeah, I wanted a new one. And especially now that I'm going to start sewing more also. So I'm very happy with it. And that's about it for acquisitions. And I have checked my notes and I don't have anything else to show you or share with you right now. The only thing I wanted to say also is going back to my thoughts from the beginning. This time has also surprised me. A lot of people, or not a lot, but some people that were very close to me got upset or offended by things that I published on my personal social media, my political views or my scientific resources that I thought were interesting, and I shared them. Apparently they got offended and they decided not to talk to me anymore. They have decided to exit my life. It has been painful, but at the same time, it's really curious that I have understood that maybe those relationships weren't meant to continue. I don't know if they will come back, but I am reflecting on that too. And I think we all should reflect, because also I got calls from people that I had not spoken with in years, or messages or emails asking me how I was doing, that they were thinking of me. And you realize that there's people that you haven't talked with in years, and that there's so much you can share with those people still. And others, you're glad to know that they're okay, but it's not like you're going to retake a relationship or go into a relationship farther from here. And that made me think about, I think we all need to rethink our relationships and how we spend our time, how we treat others, how we treat ourselves, how we deal with ourselves, how we try to become better human beings, and who do we spend the battery of our lives with. It's really deep questions, and I hope that some of you might have thought the same things, because I have found there's a lot of resonance in the world right now. Like, whatever you're feeling in one corner of the world, somebody else in a very far away place is feeling too. And that's reassuring for the human race. And thank you so much for being here. I am so glad to have been able to record the podcast, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!